Welcome to another episode of Grassroots. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you hit the notification button so that you stay hip to the game with us every single week, every Tuesday. Also remember to, I guess, join our Discord. I believe that's the proper term. And I am Wylson.
I'm Erin.
Okay, he drinks the coffee.
This is a little unprofessional, guys. Come on.
I love this guy, man. I'm one of the hosts, Brandon Killabh, y'all.
All right, regular. Now, let me just say, he did like a real radio 1985. All right, 105.8 listeners.
Word, you're now listening to the cool sounds of 105.8 Grassroots Radio.
He's definitely doing that online radio. Look at his background. He did a whole different basement now. Interchangeable basements. I didn't even know that's a thing.
Yeah. Vibes. Most people don't.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That looks like a real basement, like a cool basement, like a recording studio basement. Like it looks fly with the TV in the back. I'm not mad at it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Need the clothes and hangers though. That's the vibe.
No. I moved them for you guys. I got tired of showing you guys the drip.
Drip? Well, guess what? You ain't gonna be able. Well, actually, you may be able to show us on TikTok because that's where people be putting drip these days, anyway. Catch it, bam. So, if you guys didn't know, for everyone who's listening, there's been a whole fiasco, not only around TikTok, but around WeChat. We talked about previously how there's been a hearing surrounding social media, Facebook and Google and all these different platforms in terms of basically the monopoly and the hold on America's data security concerns. Is that what they have? And currently, for more information, actually some news just kind of dropped this morning where essentially TikTok may be avoiding a U.S. ban in the last minute. President Trump reportedly has agreed to a deal in concept, which I'm guessing in quotes just means, he is just verbally, but there's nothing actually legitimized about him agreeing to it. But essentially that if they do, two companies, Oracle and Walmart, would claim a 20% investment stake in a newly formed TikTok global company that will run the social media services businesses in the U.S. and most of the users worldwide. Oracle will become TikTok's, quote, secure cloud provider and hold on to the America data, while Walmart would wield its e-commerce and advertising technology. The deal will also see that TikTok Global will pay over $5 billion in new tax dollars to the U.S. Treasury and join with Oracle, Walmart, and investors to launch an AI-powered educational video curriculum. And the program would teach kids basics like math, reading, and science, as well as more advanced subjects like computer engineering. And also the company will also be required to have an IPO on a U.S. stock exchange. And American ownership is expected to grow over time. So, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of had no problem that TikTok was not going to be used. I'm tired of these dances. But this is actually very interesting that we're seeing this, considering that there's been just so much conversations around social media, American data, and all this stuff. And we talked on an episode before about how everybody owns our data at this point. And it's not only just a concern about owning our data overseas, but there should be a concern about owning our data in our own country too. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
We definitely did touch on this pertaining to TikTok. I dabbled on that app, and then all of the privacy issues, all of the things that happened with it, I was extremely alarmed with it. But I guess as content creators, you kind of stumble on all of these apps just to see what it is, considering everyone is living on these apps, right? But for me, I said this before in terms of what Trump was talking about, him really taking a stance against TikTok. He was right. You know what I mean? But he's right. That could be applied to anything, right? Like we talk about it a lot on the show where, you could be in your phone on Safari or in Instagram or whatever your app of choice is, and you can just mention, I don't know, like taco burrito stand. Then like 10 minutes later, that ad will appear right in your phone. And we all agreed to that upon us signing up to their privacy agreements with these social media platforms. So for me, again, I'm with you. I don't really care. Like, I don't really care. I don't really give a shit. Like goodbye for me.
Well, real quick, since you had mentioned it, I'm in a group chat with a couple of my cousins. One of my cousins had mentioned that he wanted to purchase a tonal. Have you heard of that? Like that workout virtual equipment thing?
No.
Well,
But we can.
Yeah. He had texted that to us that he wanted to get one, and then I had texted him about it, and then an advertisement for it popped up on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I personally felt violated. You know what I'm saying? Like
you can't though. You can't feel violated when you agree to the terms and conditions.
No. I understood, like, if you Google something, then it'll pop up on like your advertisements and whatnot. But I was I was text messaging.
But think about it. All right. So when you sign up, or not sign up, rather, when you get a brand new phone or when you sign into your Apple ID, right? The first thing that they do is they walk you through the process of getting all of your information, right? After they get all of your information, what do they do right before the very end of the setup? They then ask you that crucial question and say, hey, would you mind if we shared your data with our analysts so that we can better service you as customers? And guess what?
Brandon, you know nobody reads those.
Listen, I'm not, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm just saying that is what's happening, my friend. We are signing our lives away and it's over. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
we are
they know everything about you.
Yeah, we're bought into all of this.
And as far as TikTok goes, oh, my fault.
Even right now, I was about to say, even right now, they're listening to this conversation like, you're right. We got you. Like, it's just what it is, man.
Word. I hope somebody read that Zoom agreement. But as far as TikTok goes, man, we're at war.
Yeah.
We're at war. It's a silent war, man.
It is. I mean, even look, like, just even from a New York Times article, it says that, you know, there's a lot of detailed information. Like, think about it. When you're on Facebook, you're giving your age, you can give your employer, whether you're in a relationship or not, likes, locations, even like those safety buttons, like when there's like, oh, it's an earthquake, everyone presses button to make sure you're okay. That's also identifying your location. It's saying Facebook tracks both its users and non-users on other sites and apps. It collects biometric facial data without users' explicit opt-in consent. And it basically, it's utilized to learn your behaviors and your patterns so that it can best optimize its platform. I mean, Google does the same thing in terms of ads. And this has been going on for a while. And Facebook used so many different number of software tools in order to track this information. But the thing is like, we as people are getting so lazy. We gave up our privacy a long time ago. People are like, people want to get quick access to food, giving up privacy. People want quick access to love. Let me swipe and get that D or V. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is, we are so used to things just being so easily accessible that we don't care how much privacy we give up. That's why when people are like in an uproar about, TikTok in China and all this stuff, bro, you gave up that information a while ago. What do you think that all these bots are? And like this, our information is already obtained by Facebook. It's already obtained by American companies, and it's already being obtained from a bunch of other companies. So it's just like, at this point, I mean, granted, I'm not saying that it's right, but we for anyone to act like surprised, like this is a new concept, like you gotta be kidding yourself.
You can't fight it.
I didn't know. I just found out. I heard about it a ways back. But Instagram, they time everything that you look at. When you looking at pictures, there's like a little timer that they see how long you're staying on that picture or that video, and that gets analyzed. So we gave that up. Everybody's worried about Big Brother. Big Brother, they're watching us. Man, once they handed you a social security number, it was over. You're on the grid, bro. So you're on it. Everybody's so scared, man. You got smart TVs in your house. These phones, this technology, the video game consoles, they know you better than you know yourself. They know exactly what you like, where you're going, what shoes you want. I see that Mark Zuckerberg was worried about the ban on TikTok, right? He's worried because he goes, well, whatever ruling party is in place in our country, they can just say, well, I don't like this social media, so let's ban it. And that's what he was nervous about with the TikTok ban. I can see that being a dangerous precedent. But like I said last week, the internet and social media as we know it is relatively new. We're still navigating this field, you know, so we have to put these rules and regulations and some restrictions in, but Pandora's box is already open. We're plugged in the matrix. It's, you know, whether you like it or not, we're here. This is where we are.
Listen, there's a show on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix called Upload. You ever seen that shit? No. Upload is about a guy. It's about
Amazon, I think, right?
Or Amazon, something like that. I don't remember. I watched it on this app I have. Anywho, long story short, it's about a guy or about a really society, like the world in whatever year. Let's say it's 2045. I don't remember the year, but long story short, the upload is when you die, you have a chance to either get uploaded into this program where your loved ones will still be able to see you and interact with you, but they can't touch you. It's a screen thing. So it's like you'll have access to your loved one, significant other, dog, whatever it is, forever with this upload, or they do the traditional way and just cremate you. So I say all that to say the technology that they talked about in that show is literally some of the things that they talk about now here, where you talk about privacy. Like it's all centered. The show is all centered around like Fortune 500 companies, like wireless companies, like Apple, AT&T. But they're spun differently, and the way that they shape the world, it's scary when you think about it. And I honestly, I've been saying it, like this is Skynet, like all of this shit is Skynet.
Brandon,
First off,
don't think about it. Just go with it. Get your
just
phone,
go with it. Yeah,
get your PlayStation.
And that's the problem, man. That's why I won't make it here. I can't just go with the flow. I can't.
Yeah, that show sounds like a nightmare. First off, what if your wife dies? How are you gonna move on? You still gotta go see her. Like
that's the option.
No, tagged about who you're dating.
No, but that's the
and
option.
Vice versa. Same if your husband dies. Have some jealous dude behind a glass.
But you know what? That technology is already here. In South Korea, I believe they can recreate a dead person, a dead relative.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
Recreate a dead relative. Yeah, that's a tongue twister, right? But they can in South Korea. It's there. Like you put on the VR mask and the earbuds, and that person is there in front of you. So that begs the question: is it really them? Or because they have collected so much data, they can predict what this person would say to you. Because now that question is, do you have a soul, right? Where's your soul? Because if I die and you upload my consciousness, quote unquote, is it really me or is it analytics predicting, oh, this is what Nazim would say?
I get what you're saying.
It's analytics.
Analytics, yeah.
That's what I think, though.
No, I'm
that's
saying it's definitely the machine. It's not the person.
Yeah.
So,
And
my opinion.
So, and then going back to what Naz said, there's a video online where a woman uses virtual reality to reunite with her dead daughter. And it was within South Korea. I mean, VR and AR are used for so many different things, not just, reuniting with family, but also is utilized for just like studying the human body, building stuff, and et cetera. We're heading towards that side of things, but I feel like you guys know how like we have shows like Black Mirror and we have like all these different sci-fi programs and stuff that talk about the bending of reality, right? But it presents it in a way where it's very extreme. Like how you guys saying like, oh, you gotta jump in a video game and we can fight each other. Like feels like we're really fighting, like all this stuff. But I feel like that reality bending is already happening. It's already, but not in the way that we kind of, I wouldn't say fantasize about it, but like how it's presented in our media and in our entertainment. It's presented in like a very extreme way, but that sense of reality being bending, I think is already happening because social media changes the perception of reality and changes the perception of what is true and what is not. And constantly it's like we are in this kind of position where we have to question ourselves. Is this real? Is this true? Is this, you know, all these different things. And with that though, how do you guys think that this kind of perception change is going to impact us? This perception change that's going to impact certain industries. Like, let's talk about the music industry, considering we have, you know, great connections to that. How do you guys think that, you know, things like TikTok being banned or how social media things change the perceptions of celebrities and change the perceptions of just us and how we view things, this reality bending concept? How do you think that this is going to progress moving forward? Or maybe it may not as much, but what are your thoughts?
I'll say it's going to be a lot of instant careers. In other words, social media gives you so much, right? Abundance of that celebrity that you admire, or you like their music, or you like their movies. It's so much that it wears thin. Like, you have these celebrities that's here today, gone tomorrow. There's no mystery. And that, I think that's, if it's too much, it's going to be too many, like, flash in the pan celebrities. I personally don't like it. I like a little mystery behind my celebrity. I like that I don't know everything about Jay-Z. I don't know everything about Beyonce. They keep a little bit private, so you can have people are free to run wild with all these theories. If you have all these virtual realities, like I saw the hologram when they brought back Tupac, right? They brought back Prince. To me, these things are whack, because if I own the rights to their music, their musical catalog, I can do whatever I want. I can say, yo, bring Tupac back, bring Prince back. They may not have wanted it, but if I own their catalog, okay, bring them back. Because at the end of the day, it's about money, and it's always going to be about money. So if you start banning TikTok, these companies, these musical conglomerates are going to find ways to make money off these artists, and it's dangerous. You know, I think it's just, to me, it's just whack. I don't like, plain and simple. I don't like it.
Me personally, I feel like it's an interesting climate, just considering everything. We've been forced to shift everything to social media, right? Like, before, you know, pre-COVID, it was at least an option, or at least a bit of an option. Because even then, I still feel like we were all glued to social media. But now I feel like that's one of, or if not all of everyone's major consumption, right? As far as just news, as far as what's happening right now, and how fast and rapidly stories develop, that, you know, you kind of are sucked into it, primarily because what else is there to do? You can't go to the club. I mean, sure you can, but is that safe? You know, most people would like to go and disconnect and go travel, but you can't do that. That's not really safe. But you think about what other outlet is there but social media at this point. Like, most people don't watch the news actively for whatever their reasons are, whether it be, you know, propaganda, whether it be believe conspiracy theorism, or maybe it just brings them down. You know what I mean? Like, whatever that may be, the only other thing that you can possibly control is your social media at points, and what you're looking at. But even that is a slippery slope, because now artists don't even know how to kind of behave, for lack of a better word, on social media. They don't know how to use it, or they don't know how to utilize it better. So, you know, you find now that artists are struggling, especially maybe some of those older artists, or some of the artists that aren't as tech savvy. So I just think the fact that the emphasis is on it, it's a lot.
I feel bad for Boosie.
Yeah.
His page got taken away,
Mm.
and then he created another one, and they locked down that one for no reason. He can't go live, and yo, that man needs that, man.
Mm-hmm.
He needs that. Like,
Yeah.
he finally started, like, showing his personality and everything, kind of like Applies.
Mm-hmm.
Like rappers that are kind of teetering a little bit, and no disrespect to Boosie, Applies, they know what I mean. You know, they blow up, or they blew up on Instagram, son. Like they created like a whole new career. You want to?
I forgot about Plies. You're right. You're right about
Yeah.
Plies. Sorry not to cut you off. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. You want to hear these guys speak? You start locking down their pages, man. That's just messed up, man.
Well, the next thing is going to be is it's going to be something similar to OnlyFans, right? Where you're going to be able to pay 99 cents or $2.99 for a social media profile, and you can do whatever you want. It's going to be like an OnlyFans thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up OnlyFans, because now I'm thinking about it. Like, they're banning Lil Boosie's page, right? Right?
Yeah.
Lil Boosie censored his own page. He would see a kid, he'd be like, "Oh, that's a fucking kid," right? And he would cut the feed right there. You know what I'm saying? So he was pretty responsible. Where does Instagram draw the line? My what is it? The story page or the search page?
Yeah.
Mine is flooded with booty. It's flooded with so many half-naked women. I'm at the point where I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
And then I get stuck there and I forget what I was even searching for, because now I'm clicking on all their pages.
Yeah, but you know that it tracks what you look at. So what you look at, Wilson? What you look at, Wilson?
I'm not saying it's not my
Are
fault.
you looking at Ty Lawson's account? Is that what happened?
Yo, they 100% saw how long I was staying on those pages, like Nas said.
And they left you there.
Yeah, now
they just leave you there with them.
Check it out, Ty Lawson's Insta story. Is that what happened?
Yo,
kept going back to it.
That's why I'm afraid to look at like fitness pages on Instagram, because I don't want like my whole feed to be like flooded with like naked dudes, and then like somebody like borrows my phone and sees nothing but naked dudes in my search. And like,
you don't want them to judge you? It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with being that, but
that shows you.
I just don't want. I don't want to make myself look a way that I'm not.
In perception.
But that shows you how much.
I don't want to have to explain anything.
Yeah, I know what you're about to say. Go ahead, say what you're about to say. Go ahead, because I know what you're about to say.
But I mean, it just shows you how much social media like dictates your behavior, controls your behavior. Like the fact that you're so self-conscious about looking at a fitness page, the fact that you're worried about what your main feed looks like, the fact that we are very conscious about. I mean, some people are, not everyone, but we are conscious about certain things that we do, certain things that we look at, because we're afraid of like what our history page would look like, all these different things. Like for as much as people say like, oh, social media is allowed for them to communicate, it's like social media controls us. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I've started to really, really notice that a lot more. Like everyone's worried about algorithm and this and that, and I honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, I'm just gonna put whatever the fuck I want out.
I post whatever now.
Like because it's like it's like if people are gonna rock with me, they're gonna rock with me because of me, not because of just like what I'm posting, right? And it's just like, but people are so cautious about that. People are cautious about likes. And it drives such negativity. People will purposely say negative shit because it gets them likes and it makes them feel better. There's actually been studies about people getting endorphins for likes. Like it just blows my mind how controlling social media is, how it dictates people, right? But also another thing too is I actually like this TikTok ban stuff, because it's forcing people who use social media and use these kind of cutting corners to have to adapt. Like the music industry, right? The music industry just wants to pay TikTokers and be like, hey, make a dance to my song and let it blow up. But then when TikTok was banned, they probably were like, oh shit, what we gotta do, right?
Yeah.
Like these TikTok duets were something that's getting very, very popular. And it's becoming like a new thing for artists to do like these duets, and then people come in and like I've seen some fire ones, and it's actually a great way for people to introduce new artists. But I feel like some of these stereotypical and traditional platforms, because of TikTok, because of COVID, are being forced to have to change their ways a little more. And I actually like that. I like that they're being forced to have to think differently.
Yeah.
I was going to say, going back to the VR and AR stuff, right? I wouldn't be surprised within the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see like the Aubrey Hepburn commercial for Dove chocolate. She's dead 50 years, but she's in a commercial. I won't be surprised if you see dead politicians coming back to tell us who to vote for. Like, just think about that. In the next 5 to 10 years, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have dead people coming back on a little sponsored page on Instagram or TikTok telling you who to vote for. And like, oh, I thought this dude was dead going on 30 years.
About to have a Tupac McCaine come back.
Huh?
About to have a Tupac McCaine.
I would, I guarantee you, in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see a dead person tell you who to vote for.
Well, shit. Even Chris, I was as you just sent that to the chat, Chris. I was sitting here thinking it's a great segue to talk about the next topic in Kanye. I guess Wylson, even though I'm a Kanye fan too, but everyone knows how you feel about him. It's a different level. You can go ahead and okay, relax. I am Malcolm X. You remember that? I am Malcolm X.
I am what's his name? Walking Dead.
It's fine. I am Legend. I am Negan.
Yeah,
Look, you're not a fan. You're not a fan. All right. So what do we talk? What the hell?
Oh, see what happens when you just sign up for anything? They start cutting you off. They know I was about to talk about Kanye. So Kanye's in the news again. Basically, he's been speaking his mind. I don't call it rants. I feel like there's a negative connotation to that. He is lucidly speaking in our realm, and he's actually getting a lot of positive feedback this time around. People are seeing what he's saying, and he's also fighting for us once again.
Is he though?
These contracts do need to be more transparent. You shouldn't have to have a lawyer read over a contract.
Well, why not?
Whoa, hold on. Huh?
You think it should be your contract should be 2 pages? You make music, you get paid, we work together?
Yeah, I just had this conversation with someone.
Yes, absolutely. Because you got to think about it. Once you introduce a middleman, now you could really get taken advantage of. If you can't read and understand what you are signing,
whose fault is that?
No.
Whose fault is that?
That's a problem. And it's designed to work that way.
Sounds like a you problem.
It is. Do you want to pay lawyers?
I don't want to, but I will.
You want to have to pay somebody to read and tell you to sign something without you understanding it.
Well, if I'm using studios and companies to help me distribute whatever it is I'm selling, and I'm using their analytics and their resources, yeah, I expect them to try to take advantage because it costs money. They're going to do it out of the kindness of their heart.
So you're okay with that? That's what you want.
Listen, man, if the shoe's on the other foot, I'm making money off of all this. That's your problem that you don't read. That's your problem that you didn't get a lawyer. Now you made $2 billion and I'm millions more in, but you want more.
He's more so complaining about the fact that he needs to hire lawyers, or people need to hire lawyers in general, because everybody gets the lawyer to go over the contract. But the whole entire thing is now you have to put your faith in that person.
Okay, get a good lawyer.
But don't you do that for every kind of service? You put your faith in it. You put your faith in even someone making a freaking hamburger for you, man. Like, they could make that hamburger uncooked. You be catching salmonella or whatever. Like, anything that's service-based, you are putting your faith in that person's ability and skill sets. That's why it is a service.
Yeah, I agree.
And tell Kanye to apologize to Mace.
Now, hold on. Let me be clear. Hold on.
What?
They killed Mace for doing the same thing.
For doing what?
Mace went to God. He was fighting about his contract. Everybody killed him for it. Now Kanye does it. Everybody's on that bandwagon.
I think. Hold on.
Kanye makes gospel music though.
Yeah, but
Mace didn't make gospel music.
Let Brandon talk.
And Mace wasn't as hot as Kanye. What are we talking about?
It's true. Listen. What I'll say is this. Number one,
Mace ain't no damn 350s.
What I'll say is first, I agree with Kanye. I do agree with Kanye. There has to be transparency in recording contracts. Did y'all look over his contract that he posted? And I didn't look over all of it, but there was little bits and pieces of it that you can, if you go search on it, where the important parts of the contract is laid out. I say all that to say, yeah, that's what artists go through, right? Like Wylson is right in saying contracts are set up to where you don't understand them. They're set up to where there are loopholes that you should, be privy to or have some sort of, eyesight on, considering you're doing high level business. But at the end of the day, like most people, if you don't have, a lawyer, if you don't have some sort of know-how, yeah, you'll get taken advantage of. To E's point, that's you can apply that to everything. Now, to Nas's point, where he says whose fault is that, I side with that, because then you got to go, do your due diligence. You have to go and start to go get some information. You can't go blanketly signing. Like it's different. Like, especially when you're going to companies. Like when you're going to companies, like you need someone to look over that stuff. Like you can't just go there and say, oh, I got it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Now I get what you're saying of trusting this random person, but this random person, I'm sure, number one, if you're going to them, that you're going to them for a reason. Number two, they probably are well vast in their craft, be it, music or branding or whatever it could be. So I think that just needs to be taken a little bit more seriously. But Kanye is right. Like this is one of those times where, if he's genuinely going to fight for this whole thing, right? Like fight for artistry and artistry as in, we fit in that bracket, right? Like we're all artists, we're all creators. Like he's going to fight for people like us to get access or retain, ownership to like our masters, which would be our IP for like grassroots or something. Like it's invaluable what he's fighting for. So yeah, like I've always said. So I had this conversation with somebody yesterday about the same exact thing, and I said, they said, yo, you never took off your Yeezys, isn't this a proud moment? And I said, I'm not fair weather. I'm way too family for that. Like I've always liked Kanye, regardless of whatever his political views and choices are. Like I like that person. I like the artist, and he's black. I'm supporting whatever. I'm not fair weather like that. But I think it's funny now to see all of the fair weather Kanye fans like, oh yeah, Kanye's right, and trying to side with him now. I just think it's
on back.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. That's all.
You know what? The one thing that people can take away from our episode is your first contract will never be favorable to you. Mm-hmm. It's never. Contracts are not meant to be in your favor. Contracts are meant to be in the favor of whoever's giving you that contract. So you should never, ever expect that contract is going to be good. That's why you're supposed to get someone who can review it and then also get the right information in there. Now, it's kind of a dual thing too, because it's not just about the contract. It's also about you negotiating and asking and being able to convey why you should get X, Y, and Z, right? Because I think that a lot of times, especially when it's something new, right? It's something new. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm excited, all this stuff, right? Some people are so afraid to negotiate for what they know that they've earned that they're like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity, so I'm gonna take this, right? And that's the problem. What people don't understand is most people in business understand that you are going to negotiate. But what a lot of these companies do too is that they pressure you to sign it. They'll be like, okay, we'll sign it, but you need to sign in like 2 days, or we need to know within 24 or 48 hours. That's a business tactic to make sure that you don't review everything thoroughly. Like you yourself, if a company wants you that badly, they will wait. And I think that, and that's another thing too. Sometimes, kind of went back to our last conversation about, especially when we discuss creatives in the Black community, getting to the bag, right? It's like, oh, the only thing they see on that contract is like, oh, I'm gonna get $100,000, but it's like that $100,000 is a loan. It is, you need to prove that. And then also they take a percentage of what you make from X, Y, and Z. Like you have to go through everything. You can't just look at the bag and be like, I'm gonna sign this, popping bottles. You got to really look at everything and make sure if it's substantial. And kind of going back to what you're saying, Nas, I'll be very transparent. For my agents, I made sure my contract was only 2 pages. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm signing anything that's even more extensive than that because of potential loopholes that they can put in. The longer the contract is, the more loopholes that they can have. Yeah. And the more they can put these specific wordings and stuff like that. And I hired a lawyer to look through everything, and I asked hard questions. We have to train ourselves to ask hard questions, to not let business push us back, and to understand that if they don't want to sign us, that's fine. I'd rather not get signed and not get stuck into a ridiculous contract that a lot of people see, and I'd rather get better ones. And we've seen artists who didn't sign deals and then blew up or something, and then they dictated their contract later on. It kind of goes back to it's just like I'm always thinking about, we need to change our mindset. And honestly, even though the way that Kanye did it, I may not be big on, I think it was needed. I think it was needed for him to do that.
Well, when I see that stuff, I harken back to y'all may not remember him, Dante Culpepper from the NFL. He was his own agent. He got an agent when he first got in the league. Then he learned how to read contracts and how to negotiate, and started negotiating for himself. The organizations hated dealing with him because, of course, he's going, well, in my head, I'm worth X amount of dollars, and you're trying to pay me, the A amount. I know I'm not going to take that. It's good that he didn't have an agent, because you know what? I taught myself how to read contracts. I don't have to pay this agent 3 to 5% or whatever the agents were getting back then, or however much agents get for doing the contract negotiations. Mm-hmm. But it's also bad because your self-worth, you're never going to say, I'm worth $10,000. Yeah, I'll take that 10 over the 100,000. So yeah, I agree with Kanye that learn the contract, but I don't think you can just say I don't need a lawyer. To Wylson's, but you need a lawyer, because those contracts, the bigger you get, the more expensive. It's like, okay, well, we'll help you with your 350s, we'll help you with the touring, we'll help you with this, that, and the third, but I'm going to need X amount of money back. So
yeah, I'm not saying that people don't need a lawyer. I'm saying that the contracts are too complicated. Mm-hmm. They're written in that way on purpose. They need to change so that we don't need a lawyer. We should be able to comprehend. If you're signing it, you should be able to comprehend it.
Yeah, but then that defeats then that sets back even the justice system, right? Like when you get a parking ticket, you go to traffic court. In that traffic court, you're offered two options, right? You either have a public defender or you have your own personal attorney. If you remove those elements, how do lawyers even exist? And then because of that, how does the judicial system get taxed, or how do they tax people to get their money back for the cops walking on the street? Like it's one big.
Well, they run cons. No, I'm serious. Like DWIs.
No, I know.
No, seriously.
No, but that's what I'm
saying. DWIs. You get a DWI, they send you through the ringer. They run a train on you, from sending you to like rehabs for no reason. They make you pay for that. You have to pay the state, whatever state you got the DWI in. You have to get a lawyer. And if you get a lawyer, you're going to pay the lawyer the bare minimum. The lawyer's not even going to do anything for you. But since you show up with a lawyer, they're just going to give you like a small break. So everybody's going to eat off you.
It matters though. But that's
whose fault is that?
What, as far as getting the DWI?
Yo, drunk ass.
I mean, if you didn't get the DWI, you wouldn't have to get the lawyer, son. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, I might as well speak from a personal experience. I've gotten a DWI before, right?
I know. You were so mad.
So
you had that breathalyzer thing.
Well, this cop gave me a DWI in my own parking lot.
Yeah, no, it's bullshit.
And towed my car from my home. So he lied on his report, first off. You know, I'm not even. No, he definitely did. He definitely did. I was about to say something crazy, but all right.
If I ever see that guy, relax.
I'm gonna pull him over too.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. Though you were really mad about that. Yeah,
of course,
your life was in shambles. But that's a real thing, though. All jokes aside, like it's a real thing. that certain cops do. Not all cops. Certain cops, you know, they either don't
Nitpick.
make, yeah, they just don't have nothing else better to do. Like, I know cops in my area, there's times where you could just be driving around, you could just see that they're beat. They have nothing else better to do, so they'll just walk and start checking meters like a cop. You know what I mean? Like, come on, fam. Like, you think Superman is checking parking meters? Like, go save a building or something. Like, go do something heroic. Like, it's just stupid stuff like that, man. Like,
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know what? You know what, Wilson? You're a little bit. You're the energy I'm feeling for you. I think this is the time for you to let some steam off, because in our group text, you kind of had a problem with the Joe Rogan podcast about some stuff. And I feel like it's the perfect time for you to get into it, because we're talking about social media. We're talking about content creators. We're talking about the perception of things and how contextually things can be bent and skewed, and how social media isn't always the truth. It is it's a reveal of the truth, but also it is a veil of the truth, and it also is hiding the truth. So tell us your truth, Wilson, because you were going off of that text message. I can't lie. I was probably asleep or something. I'm like, yo, what is this dude talking about?
So basically, I am an avid listener of the Joe Rogan podcast. I love that show. I listen to every single episode.
You listen to it more than ours?
Well, ours, it's kind of hard to listen to with you guys always berating me. No, I'm just playing. Of course, I listen to both. So, anyhow you put it, something I've noticed on the Joe Rogan podcast that I've noticed, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed that he's been talking about everything that's been going on as far as like the protests and everything goes. And basically the way how they're speaking about it from their perspective, but they haven't had anyone who's black on yet to talk about how they view the protests and how they view everything. So sometimes all I was saying in the group chat is that it's coming off. You could hear the lack of experience. You could hear the lack of the black experience in the conversations on that show recently. And I would just like for him to get somebody black on, like DL Hughley, who is a comedian. It would be a perfect fit to actually talk about the protests and everything else that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because they had a man on there recently. I forgot the guy's name. His last name was Murray. And some of the things that he said kind of bothered me a little bit. And he's not even from America. So he's not black. He's not from America. But he's talking about how we would feel with certain monuments getting taken down. Like they had mentioned a bell that may have been rung during slavery, right? And I guess people wanted that taken down. I guess from his perspective, yeah, that could be seen as stupid. He went on to mention, oh, what is it, a magic bell? Like if you ring it, slavery is going to come back. And true, everything that you're saying is correct. But I'm saying that bell. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that bell. Take it down. if somebody is hurt by it because of slavery, take it down.
Keep going, dog.
No. I'm done. No, I'm done because I didn't plan this. I didn't mark any.
But devil's advocate. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I just want to play devil's advocate. But is it really his responsibility, Joe Rogan and content creators, right? And I'll just say content creators, so we're not just singling him out. Is it really his responsibility to make sure that every single time he gets a guest, there has to be a balanced and fair assessment? Is it the responsibility of that person to make sure of it? Or is it the responsibility of them focusing on the entertainment factor of it or the branding factor of it? Where do you draw the line where it's, you know, you're saying, okay, he's talking about the black experience, but he's not getting the appropriate black people.
Well,
is it something is it a topic that just naturally comes up with a guest? Is it something that he plans for? What's the responsibility on him and content creators to have that fair assessment?
Well, it's not necessarily his responsibility, but it's been 6 months we've been in this pandemic, maybe 7. I'm not sure. I think the protests have been going on for about that long as well, right?
Yeah.
Around there. It's been going on for
Around
months.
there, it's about 5 months. So,
Yeah. And, it's not his responsibility, but as big as his podcast is, and the manner in which they're speaking about it, or the Black experience or whatever, it's negligent. It's negligent because he's been talking about the protests on a lot of episodes, talking about George Floyd's murder and everything else. Why not have a Black comedian on to come talk about it? Or it doesn't even have to be a comedian. He's had Killer Mike on before. You know what I'm saying? But you're talking about the protests and everything that's going on with somebody who's not even American. I'm not sure if maybe that guy lives in America. Cool, he's American. I don't know. I don't know if he is or he isn't. But
no, you're right. Listen, I agree.
He doesn't necessarily have a connection to what's going on.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's cool to have his opinion, but
I agree with you as well, though. That's why I'm just being quiet. I agree. With you.
Yeah. It's not his responsibility, but if you're talking about it on multiple podcasts, and if you listen to Joe Rogan repeats the same things over and over again. To different guests.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I'm saying?
He does.
What he had said was Joe Rogan was saying that he could understand how people wouldn't want the protest or people bringing awareness to what's going on in the Black community during a football game. Like he said, I can understand how people wouldn't want that mixed in with their football. Okay, does anybody complain about breast cancer awareness? What if I don't want breast cancer awareness mixed in with my football?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Racism is the cancer of America. That's a problem. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that they had said on the show, they mentioned something to the effect of, it's one murder, or what did they say? Anyhow you put it, they downplayed the racism in America on that last episode, and I don't think that they take into account all the little things. Like, it's not just one murder. You know what I'm saying? It's Black people being followed around in stores, being talked to crazy by cops, just racism in general. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one murder that's being protested. That's what gets everybody up, because nobody's going to come protest if I tell the world that I got followed in the department store by the owner or something like that. We're not going to protest over that.
I mean, I
don't know.
I honestly I don't have nothing to say. I agree with you. Like, I honestly agree with you. I don't have any quarrels with any of what you're saying, just because, again, we talk about that on this show, right? Like, when we talk about like LGBTQ, whenever E is not on, we don't talk about that stuff, just because we're not in the position to talk about it. We're not, you know what I mean? We don't come from that community. I feel like that's the same thing. It's the same. You can't bring somebody in and talk and try to have them talk about issues with rioting and injustice and things like that, and not have the appropriate person to do it.
Actually, what did he say about Stephen A. Smith when Stephen A. Smith was talking about UFC fighters? He said Stephen A. Smith isn't. He said Stephen A. Smith doesn't have the experience in this realm to talk or commentate about these fighters.
So, but that's
same with you. I know Joe Rogan's not racist. I know the guy that he had on isn't racist, but you guys aren't. You guys have not.
You don't really know.
You don't go. You haven't had the Black experience. Get somebody Black on.
Tell them they're not qualified. And Joe Rogan goes around saying like his show is fair and just, and he's an open platform. But you talking about the Black experience, like Wylson and I and Brandon talking about a menstrual cycle every month, PMS, what the issues are, and cramps. And
cramps. I know he said it. And cramps.
And don't forget bears. They attract bears.
And chocolate.
Oh man,
allegedly.
And attitude.
That's like me saying, yo, Brad, you know what happens during those 5 to 7 days? Whoo! Erin, look at me like, yo, shut up.
Yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, I probably would. I would probably be like, bro.
But in closing, in closing on my rant. I did ramp it up, But
He did. He did.
I know you're
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah.
You're-
I know that Joe Rogan's not racist. I love his show. I just want to see somebody who's black on there to actually talk about everything that's going on today. I would recommend DL Hughley. If not him, maybe a David Banner. who's never
David.
been on
Oh,
his
you
show.
took. Yeah, I was about to say. I would go
Nick
David
Godfrey.
Banner.
Nick
Even
Godfrey.
Godfrey would be great. Killer Mike would be awesome. Maybe not Godfrey.
Nick Cannon would be
Godfrey,
perfect.
because Godfrey's been with Lord Jamar. They're going a little bit.
Nick-
I think he would go too hard on the Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
podcast.
No, I think Nick Cannon would make for a great interview.
Nick Cannon would be great. But Nick
Cannon
Cannon
would be-
also might go way too. Oh, I would love to see Nick Cannon on that.
No, Nick Cannon. What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
perfect thing. Hey, listen, guys, you're paying attention. Nick, go on that show. We need.
So yo, if you post this clip, tag Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Tag Joe
yeah,
Rogan to get DL Hughley
Yeah.
on the show. That's my first pick.
Yeah.
Man, that was some good. Yeah, that was some good stuff. Wilson, that was a good
Yeah,
rant. I mean,
yeah.
there's
I
nothing
applaud
else
you.
that we could
I
say.
applaud you. I
Yes.
applaud you.
Thank you.
There's nothing else we
Thank
could
you.
say. So I guess we could end off on that note. Posting a question to our audience. Where does the responsibility lie for content creators and big content creators and big podcasters, whether it's Kanye, whether it is Joe Rogan? Where's the responsibility on them to have these fair assessments, to convey messages in the right way? Is the responsibility on them? Is the responsibility on us and them? What do you guys think? Let us know. Drop in the comments section, tweet us, drop it on a clip. Let us know. Let's continue the conversation and let's get deep into the grassroots of things.
Hey.
You like that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
Oh man. But on that note, make sure you hit the notification button. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, SoundCloud, AudioMax, iTunes, everywhere. Join our Discord. We have a lot of our post-episode conversations there. If you have any more questions, you can drop it in there. We will talk to you guys. We'll talk gaming. We'll talk culture. We'll talk everything. And on that note, I'm Erin Ashley Simon.
I'm Brandon Killabh, BHR.
Regular Nas, still in focus.
I'm Wilson.
And Chris in the back on the ones and twos. So we out.
Grassroots.